Prepare to meet an entrepreneur who is incredibly passionate about sustainability and who is growing her fashion brand big and fast.
It's the e-commerce master plan podcast. Here to help you solve your marketing problems and grow your e-commerce business. Cutting through the hype to bring you inspiration and advice from the e-commerce sector and beyond. Here's your host, Chloe Thomas.
Hello and welcome. It's great to have you here. In today's episode, I'm chatting with a truly inspirational retailer. My guest is on a mission to change the fashion world and is tackling that in the worst product category for waste, which is swimwear. She's based in Australia and selling via her own site as well as wholesaling globally, and she's achieving huge growth in the business at the moment. We'll be discussing how and why she's taking the approach she has to both carbon neutrality and using wholesale as her primary growth channel. And she'll also be sharing a lot of tips for how you can make your life and your business better for the human-friendly planet. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversation, and I hope you do too. Before we meet Charys, please do check out the sponsors. Getting an online business off the ground is not easy. So if you find yourself working late, tackling a to-do list that's a mile long with your fifth cup of coffee by your side, remember, great email doesn't have to be complicated. That's what Klaviyo is for. It's the email and SMS platform built to help e-commerce brands earn more money by creating genuine customer relationships. Once you set up a free Klaviyo account, you can start sending beautiful branded messages in minutes, thanks to drag and drop design templates and built-in guidance. And with e-commerce specific recommendations and insights, you can keep growing your business as you go. Get started with a free account at klaviyo.com/masterplan. That's klaviyo.com/masterplan. And now to introduce today's special guest. Charys Caldarella is the CEO and founder of Styelle Swim, a sustainable swimwear fashion brand. Founded in 2016, they're now on track to hit €1 million this year. Hello, Charys.
Hi, Chloe. How are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to find out how you've gone about building and growing your fashion brand. But let's go back to the beginning. How did you get started in e-commerce?
Well, it was actually quite funny because I went to fashion college and went through the usual motions of being in the fashion industry, which I've been doing for nearly 20 years. And so seeing trends come and go. And then I saw a bit of a shift when I had my own retail stores back in 2012. And I saw that the customer was more, do you have Facebook? Do you have Instagram? Do you have a website? Those questions were becoming really consistent in my bricks and mortar stores. And instead of just saying, no, sorry, I don't, I thought there's got to be something in this. So I used to retail other brands. So I had my own little boutiques and retailed some great Aussie brands like Wish and Sass and Bide and things like that. So it was something that I saw very consistent. So I took it that little bit extra and had a bit of a further look into it and had a look at trends that were coming up. And I noticed that a lot of people were talking about sustainability, and it is just more sustainable all in all to have an e-commerce store than what it is to have bricks and mortar. I don't even, for all of the sustainability nuts like me out there, they get it. But for the ones that don't, just the CO2 of the shipping to and from the store and the cars driving in and out and all of those things that come with it is just better, more sustainable, and e-commerce is just going to be the way of the future. I actually read a statistic a few days ago that by 2040, 96% of purchases will be made online.
It is one of those things, isn't it? Like, either you can have a whole load of people individually driving to your store where there's only people in it some days of the week. You know, we know there's busy days and quiet days, and each of them individually picking up their own purchases, or you can have a van that delivers to 10 people in one go. It's so obviously that the online option is actually the more sustainable one when you think about it.
Oh, it is, yes. And it just takes a moment to sort of give people that little bit of insight. They have a bit of the holy crap moment. Hold on a minute, I never thought of it like that. And it really is. It's just the better way to be. And again, at the risk of sounding like a greenie, if we want to leave a planet for our kids, we've got to step it up.
Indeed. So you took the decision based on all of that to go, right, I'm getting out of the physical retail stores and I'm going to start selling online. But you also decided at the same time you were going to stop selling other people's clothes and start creating your own brand, which is that's two massive strategic leaps to make.
It is, but it was a no-brainer. So I come from a couture background, working with the incredibly talented Selena Zielkowski, here in Australia. She taught me so much, like everything from this is back before cotton became a bad fabric. So she taught me so much about waste and thinking about end of life, and which is why she's a couture designer actually. And she's very passionate about sustainability like myself. And the amount that she taught me about it, like, using remnants instead of using fresh, like new fabrics, and all the great new evolutions that was happening. So back then, that was when hemp was becoming a thing. And I'm talking about just becoming a thing. Australia hadn't even gotten wind of it yet. Bamboo was just starting to make its emergence. Yeah, this is quite a while ago. Showing my age now. um, so, it's being taught all those things from back then. You take a look at your business from a holistic point of view and you think, how can I do it better? Swimwear is the biggest market in the world. Swimwear and lingerie, the biggest market. What is the biggest market equal? The biggest amount of waste. So, and I looked at it, and what's swimwear made of? It's plastic. It's plastic and it's fuel, petrochemicals. And people are actively putting that on their skin.
Yeah, that can't be good, can it?
No. And if you just take a second to kind of use your common sense brain on it, it doesn't make any sense, period, to put petrochemicals on your skin. And I applaud the brands that are doing the upcycled fishnets, but it's the same thing. You're not thinking about end of life. You're not thinking about what's going to happen when it hits landfill. That elastin will probably never break down. That's in there. So, people are still discarding that. You can't reuse, you can't op shop swimwear unless it's brand new with the lining still in it. That's just disgusting. So what can we do about this? How can we make this better? So a company called Solvay in Brazil, they created Amnisol Eco, which is the fabric that I use. So it's 30% biodegradable, so plant-based filaments. The remainder of the polyamide is actually specifically designed to be able to decompose within 10 years. So once it hits the microbiomes in landfill, it will actually eat it within 10 years.
These technologies are being developed. We just have to find them, and then even more importantly, put them in front of the consumer so as they can make the better choice.
Yep, and leading into that, I put it in front of the consumer and I screamed it from the mountaintops. And you want to know what I got, Chloe?
What?
That I was greenwashing.
No.
They said that I was greenwashing and that I needed to check my sources and all of these things, and they made me doubt myself. And I said, no, F you, I'm doing it anyway.
And over the, obviously you've been running this business for 8 years. You've been trading for 8 years now. So have you found that reaction of the consumers has changed over that time? Are they less resistant and more open?
They haven't just become less resistant. They've done a complete backflip and they want it now. They actively search it. Other brands in Australia have now started launching the same product that I have because it's become so wildly successful. And it was only because I had to wind back the business for a short period of time with my children that I wasn't able to push it out there faster. So that was family commitments. You have to do what you have to do. So that meant I wasn't able to push it out there faster. But as soon as I put it out there and started educating people have just come flocking. I've had so many platforms approach me that they want to hold my stuff. We're gearing up for our Wolf and Badger launch in the next few months. Hudson's Bay in Canada want us too, and we've got a whole bunch of marketplaces selling us here in Australia. And having all of that as e-commerce and having all of those numbers in our system, we are able to carbon offset and make our business carbon positive. When you're using a bricks and mortar, you can't do that. It's physically impossible to monitor product. You don't have any statistics in front of you except for the amount of sales you made in a day and what the end of the day cash flow is. With e-commerce, I know exactly what package. If I send you a package in the UK all the way from Sydney, I know exactly how long it's taking to get there. I know exactly what needs to go into putting it there and how much I need to offset to be able to make sure that it's gone to you in a zero impact way.
So you've not only is your product and your material as good as it can be, you are tracking every piece of carbon right up until the point it's in the hands of the customer, and then offsetting that via another offsetting tool.
Yeah, using a company called Green Fleet here in Australia. And with every order, we also plant a tree with one tree planted. So which then goes back to Brazil and puts trees in the rainforest.
How important was it for you from day one to have all those boxes ticked, not just one part of the sustainability or the net zero journey, but the whole piece?
Oh, it's something that is incredibly important to me. I can't even imagine leaving this planet in a worse way than what I came here. And mate, I came in the 80s. It was a pretty damn good time. So, I've got to make sure that I leave this planet better than what I came to it in.
And obviously part of that is getting your product, into more hands. So you're changing the industry as you already are. And interestingly, although, consumers can come and buy it direct from your website, how you're doing that growth is predominantly via wholesale and marketplaces. What led you to go down that route rather than purely building a brand and doing the kind of the D2C game?
Well, see, swimwear, it's so on the not so positive front, swimwear is a highly saturated market. It's very hard to be a small brand, like you're a very small fish in a big sea of brands. And and at the end of the day, a small brand like mine, like even though yes, we have seen exponential growth over the last 18 months, the usual small brand can't compete with the big brands. I don't have $400 million a year coming through my doors. God, I wish. So, I need to be able to plan myself well. And so I utilize the platforms of other brands with their vast customer base to grow my brand. And then once that grows the income stream, then I can focus on building my own brand.
And of course, you get the consumer awareness up a lot faster that way too, I suppose.
Exactly, because they still see those swing tags when they open their parcel. They know who owns that brand. They know where that brand comes from. So and as soon as they read, so we've got little mission statements on every bikini. Every bikini comes with a certificate as well of sustainability, because we're OECOTEX certified. So every bikini comes with a little certificate on recycled cardboard, of course. And it comes with a little mission statement of what Styelle is all about, and people love it. People post our swing tags, and they're very attractive looking swing tags. People post our swing tags quite often now because they just love them. They're pretty peach with white coating, and we know our target customer. She's fun, she's happy, and she loves to see pink things.
And if she sees those pink swing tags, she's going to put them on Instagram, and that's what we want.
Oh yeah, that's how you do it.
So for growing via wholesale, is the key to then building the brand awareness and changing consumers' perceptions? Do you spend a lot of time educating the wholesaler, or is it more about how you educate the consumer with what you attach to the eventual product that they receive?
Well, we try to do it as a double whammy. So we educate the wholesaler before we even launch onto their platform. We make sure that they are aligned with us, which is what has made us so successful. So their customer has to care about the planet too. We don't work with companies that aren't interested in sustainability or looking to better themselves. I want to be alongside the Pangaias of the world, not the, I don't even want to say it, Shein.
Not the others.
The others that we all know of that are highly wasteful.
So it actually starts with, who are you willing to wholesale your products to? So someone could have the biggest swimwear website in the world, but if they're not aligned to your values, you're not going to supply them anyway.
Absolutely not. I will not align myself with people like that and contribute to the senseless waste.
And then once you're partnered with the right people, then it's about educating them so they can sell your product in the right way, and then educating the end consumer as well.
Exactly. Launching onto Zalando, we've actually added a new type of fabric. So on Zalando, you can actually shop by fabric types because some people prefer certain fabrics. So Zalando will actually be adding a new fabric type, courtesy of Styelle Swim.
Oh wow! So you're actually fundamentally changing the marketplaces as you go.
Exactly, and showing them how they can be better too, which is what I want. It's the trickle down effect. Why be a drop in the ocean when you can create a splash?
I think that's one of the biggest kind of trade-offs that people have to make on the sustainability journey is, although actually I suppose you're not making this trade-off because you've done things perfectly, but it's that, how do we reach the maximum number of people whilst still not harming the planet? And I think there's this constant, we can take that step forward, but we're going to need to offset it something rather than, I guess, is it where you choose to spend the carbon? I guess that what I'm trying to say is, and apologies everyone, because I'm mangling my words here, but it's an interesting point to try and get across is, Charys, how do you decide, I suppose is what I'm trying to ask is, how do you decide where it's worth spending some carbon you're going to have to offset to expand that mission and to re-educate more people, both businesses and industry and consumers, versus saving the carbon in the first place?
Well, we're giving people a better option. So it's it's kind of like when you go to the doctor and you've cut your finger, but your finger's broken. What do you treat first, the broken finger or the cut? And then your doctor always say, well, you've got to treat the worst thing first. So we have to and the worst thing is teaching customers and giving them better options and making sure that the consumer knows what kind of impact they're having, not just on the planet, but on their own bodies when they put these petrochemical fabrics on there. So it's very important to just kind of shift that dynamic and teach them, because at the end of the day, it's their purchasing decisions that make the difference, because they literally vote with their dollars. And I know that's said so wide, it's not funny, but it's the honest to God truth that you literally vote with your dollars. And whether you spend that in an op shop or whether you send that with a brand new brand, that's your vote. You're casting your vote. See, me personally, I op shop. I am a notorious outfit repeater because A, I don't care what other people think of my outfit. B, I'm quite happy to own that because it changes the norm for other people. It's shifting that dynamic and setting the example that like smaller companies like myself really need to do to show the big guys how it's done. We need to make our splash and show the larger companies like, hey, I know it's hard to shift your supply chain and things like that, but it's not impossible. Have a look at it from this perspective. Try to make impact not just to the consumer but to other companies. They're kind of like, oh, hey, Styelle Swim's getting a lot of attention. Maybe we should have a look at how we set up our business too. That's the kind of impact I want. I don't want which is why I happily publish my type of fabric. Most brands will hide which fabric they use, where they get it from. I will broadcast it to the cows come home because I want other companies to use it. I want them to have zero impact like we do. I genuinely, with all my heart, want to see that shift. And customers, they feel that when they look at Styelle Swim. They know that we genuinely want that change and they resonate with it and they love it. They get their hairs stand up on the back of their neck when they think about how passionate we are about sustainability. So it's a no-brainer for them. They want to buy Styelle Swim because we've created so much goodness in the world, and it's that we thrive on.
So let's try and create a bit more goodness in the world right now. For those listening who are inspired by your story, inspired by other stories we've been sharing, who want to start taking their business on that path to net zero, that path to sustainability to do better, have you got some big impact ways they can start making a difference, but also some kind of more easy ways? I'll let you have some big impact and some easy ones. Have you got some tips to share with them?
Well, there's of course all the little changes that you can make. Just the little personal changes like less plastic and trade in your plastic toothbrush for you can recycle plastic toothbrushes too, just for the record. Grab yourself a bamboo one. There's all these little changes that you can make, but in the way of big changes, upgrading to an electric vehicle, getting some solar panels on your home, op shopping as much as you can. Wear it proudly. Like if you've got a cute outfit that you've bought from an op shop, wear it proudly. Talk about, I op shop this. This is one of a kind. You won't find this anywhere else because this is made in God knows when by who knows who, and it looks great on me. So good luck trying to find it. It doesn't just give you the feeling of creating less impact. It gives you that proudness of standing tall and saying, I own this. This is me, and it is a one of a kind, just like me. Because we are all one of a kind. In a world where, oh, I want to be an influencer and I'm going to follow this influencer and I'm going to make sure that I'm just like her. Be you, for God's sake, be authentic. It's like, be you because everyone else is taken. And it's just so you step up and do those things. I love op shopping and teaming things with my swimwear. I bought this gorgeous white skirt the other week and I wear it with my black one piece from an op shop in Neutral Bay in northern Sydney. So, like there's little things that you can do, and how many compliments I get on wearing my one piece with skirts, you have no idea, because it's this gorgeous little cutaway thing. And just people don't realize you can wear swimwear all year round. Like there's so many things that people can do. It literally just takes a Google. Like you could just Google top 10 things to make my life more sustainable. Eat less meat. I'm not vegan or vegetarian by any way, shape, or form, but I make a conscious decision to do less impact. So back when I was young, the food pyramid said that you should only eat meat 3 times a week maximum. We've become a society where they eat meat 3 times a day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually genuinely unhealthy. Like bowel cancer is at an all-time high. Ask yourself why. Because we're over-consuming, and on more than just fabric and clothing and all those other things. We're over-consuming in food as well. And I look at the children in the world that are starving, and I think to myself, how can I possibly put 3 servings of meat on my plate when there's children in countries that don't even have a cup of milk? And that kind of thing plays on me, and I look at my children and how lucky they are living in Australia, having everything they want and need. And it makes me really consider what other children need, which is why we built the Styelle Swim on maximum impact. So the original core of the business was actually built around putting children back in school in Brazil. So in Brazil, school is free, but they don't have the means of transport and they don't have the means of utensils, i.e. pens, pencils, paper, so on, etc., all the books. So we contribute to community growth initiatives that make sure that kids get what they need to be able to go back to school and bridge that education gap. So making sure that whatever it is that you do, whether it's in business or in life, that you do it and mindful. You have to be awoken to make this impact. Reject that plastic straw. Tell them you want a paper one. Take a metal one with you. These little things just make such a difference, and people don't realize literally every step they take in life has an impact on this planet. And the more that people start to look at that and start to feel and become reconnected to the earth, and I'm not a hippie, by the way, I'm very much a modern woman, but you need to connect yourself to the planet, because we are one, whether you like it or not. We are all living beings. The planet is living and breathing just the same way we are, and we live alongside it. It's literally our home. So if you don't start to live for it and respect it, then you're not going to have a home anymore. She's going to kick you out, mate.
And Charys, you've run us through some great ways we can improve our lives to make more of a difference. Obviously, a lot of our audience are running e-commerce businesses, e-commerce brands, and therefore have the ability to make more impact than just doing their own things. What's the easiest way to start making our own businesses follow in your footsteps too?
Oh God, just get rid of your plastic packaging. Number one, Jesus. That is the number one. And rethink your end of life. It's so important to think about the end of life of your garments, whether you're purchasing garments from a wholesaler and reselling them, whether you're selling, branding things as your own and then selling them, it doesn't matter. Think about end of life. What's going to happen to that once the customer is finished with it? Because when that fabric ends up in landfills, I'm talking hundreds of thousands of tons on a daily basis end up in landfill, you've got to think about what happens. So with Styelle Swim, for example, if you purchase a Styelle bikini or one piece right now, you wear it for the next 4 to 5 years, you're like, oh, hey, it's getting a little bit translucent. You send it back to me, I will actually give you $25 to spend on your next one. Then when it comes to me, I recycle it with a wonderful company called Apparel here in Australia. They're in Melbourne. And it gets broken down. All the biodegradable components are broken down. Then we refabricate what we can with the elastin, and it gets used in new rolls of fabric. It then goes out to struggling designers that want to make it themselves. So we've thought about it end of life and created circularity. So a lot of brands aren't thinking about end of life and creating circularity, being responsible for what they put in the world. Things like that are really important, and carbon offsetting all your purchases. Even just start with $1 per order. Like we don't ask the customer to pay $1. We pay $1 out of each sale ourselves. So it comes up in the customer's purchase as $0 for a tree. So every one US dollar is another tree planted, and we foot the bill ourselves. And then the customer's got the option to add more trees if they like for $1 each. So, and quite often customers will add an additional tree because we've taught them to be respectful of planet and respectful of their impact, So that's when we achieved carbon positive, which was early last year.
E-commerce Master Plan is supported by some of the greatest companies in the e-commerce sector. Here's a reminder of who they are.
Has your business taken huge growth leaps in the last year? Then you need to enter to be in the running for Bright Pearl's Lightning 50. It's the definitive list of the fastest growing online businesses in the UK and US. Apply today and get recognised for your brand's epic success over the past year. Last year's winners included brands like Holland Cooper, Biscuiteers and Candy Kittens. Do you have what it takes to stand out in 2022? Head to brightpearl.com/lightning-50 to put your business forward. The Lightning 50 is free to enter and it takes less than 5 minutes to apply. Head to brightpearl.com/lightning-50 to put your business forward. Ever wondered how your business is doing compared to other businesses in your sector? Are you on track or behind the pack? Well, now's the time to find out what's going on in your market. There's a fantastic new benchmark service for retail e-commerce businesses from the customer and marketing analytics experts Suite Analytics. Participants sign up online. It's free, only takes 2 minutes to set up, and your data is secure and anonymous. Suite Online Retail Index results are available daily, and a weekly summary email summarises results and provides a full market view. You will always know where you sit against the pack. Sign up now with Suite Online Retail Index and find out if your business is on track. Sign up at benchmarks.suiteanalytics.com. That's benchmarks with an S and sweet like sugar. So go to benchmarks.suiteanalytics.com now.
It's time for the top tips round.
I love this section because it gives me and our listeners some really quick ideas for taking our business to the next level. So, Charys, are you ready for these?
Yes.
Excellent. Good answer. Okay, the book top tip. If everyone listening to this podcast agreed to take Friday off and read a book to make their business better, which book would you recommend?
Can I do two? Is that being selfish?
Of course.
Okay. Hook Point by Brendan Kane. Pivoting book for your business. And The Pumpkin Plan by Michael Michalowicz.
Excellent. I think we've had The Pumpkin Plan before, but I don't think we've had your first choice. So I'll be adding that to my own reading list. Okay, the traffic top tip. Which marketing method do you either prize above all others or think doesn't get the press it deserves?
Well, we highly focus on SEO. So SEO has been our number one performer always. And I'm talking 400, 500% above any paid marketing ever. Organic is the best, without a doubt, because it's there forever and there's no budget on it.
Never bad to be investing in SEO. Okay, the tool top tip, maybe a collaboration tool, a social media plugin, a phone app, or just a way of working. Is there a cool little tool you use that makes you and your team more efficient from day to day?
Oh, there's a couple. So I use Plan for my scheduling across my social medias, ClickUp for my team organization, and Pick Story so people can shop my website easier.
Cool. And what was the first one called?
Plan, PLANN.
I've not come across that. I will have to have a look. Okay, lovely. Loving these tips. And then the growth top tip. If you met someone today who's focused on growing their e-commerce business from 100 orders per month to 1,000, what would be your number one tip for them?
Ooh, okay. So if you want to grow that, it's a numbers game. So if you want to grow your order quantity, then you just need to focus on your traffic, getting more traffic to your website, and making sure that it's nurtured proficiently to be able to convert. See, it's one thing to get those orders. It's another thing to have your average cart value at a decent height. You know what I mean? Like if you have a ridiculous amount of people shopping your sales section, what's it really worth? You'd rather make sure you're nurturing your customers proficiently to get them to have that maximum cart value. See, to me, being a numbers game, it's about having high numbers in one section, even if it does mean lower numbers in another section, is actually a higher profit margin and less work.
So not growth at all costs, people. We're talking growth with a decent profit margin as well, which I think is music to everybody's ears.
Well, you know what? We're not in business to be to be a charity. We're here to make money. And that's the reality of it, is that we are in business to make money. Like, yes, we contribute to charity, but we are not charities ourselves. So if you want to be able to put food on that table every night, you've got to work on your average cart value.
Love it. Charys, before we say goodbye, could you please let the listeners know where they can find you and your business on the web and social media?
Okay, well, you can just search Styelle Swim, so it's Styelle Swim, and our social media handles is @Styelle Swim.
Simple as that. And I believe you've got an offer for the listeners if they want to try out your swimwear.
Yes, I'm happy to offer all the listeners 15% off using the code MASTERPLAN.
Easy as that, guys. Charys, it has been a total pleasure chatting to you. We are aligned in our thinking on so many things. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast and being so passionate today sharing your experience with us.
Thanks so much, Chloe. I was really happy to share that extra insight and to try and reach as many people as possible to teach them how they can be better too.
So I hope you enjoyed that chat with Charys there. I think she's potentially one of my new favourite people. So she will be coming back on the podcast somewhere, because she has created a fast growth business that's doing all the right things on the sustainable net zero journey. And as you can tell, she is very passionate about this subject, and she has found a way in which to do it that has maximum impact while still being good, which is to go via that wholesale route to re-educate the market, but still not to do it at all costs, not to sell on any platform, even if they don't have the right value. So I'm inspired by her. I hope you're inspired and have got some ideas for that too. Now, you can get your hands on our notes about today's show, including the top tips and links to what we've mentioned, by heading over to ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast. There you can also sign yourself up to our email list so you don't miss out on any of the other things I share to help you improve your business. And if you liked this episode, then do have a scroll back. Just go and have a scroll back through our other episodes, because we've interviewed some really inspiring sustainable fashion, sustainable business retailers recently who are combining that growth, that consumer education, that doing better for the planet piece. So just have a scroll back through. Find the next one to listen to, because there's been some utterly awesome ones. I am very lucky to interview so many very, very cool business owners at the moment. So yeah, have a scroll back, listen to something else. Thank you so much for tuning to this episode and the next one you're about to tune into of the E-commerce Master Plan podcast. I bring you a new one of these interviews every week because I want to inspire and help e-commerce business owners like you to succeed and thrive with your business, including progressing along that all-important path to net zero, to carbon neutrality. If you know someone this show can help, please, please, please tell them to listen to the E-commerce Master Plan podcast. I hope you have a marvelous week, and don't forget to keep optimizing.
Thank you for listening to the E-commerce Master Plan podcast. Find out more at ecommercemasterplan.com/podcast.
If you're marketing an e-commerce brand, you already know that data changes everything. More data means more power. And if your email or SMS tools can't handle all that data, they're probably holding you back. That's where Klaviyo comes in. Its top-notch personalization and segmentation help you send the right message at the right time, guided by unlimited real-time data from your online store and tech stack. Request a demo at klaviyo.com/masterplan. That's KLAVIYO.com/masterplan.